Good afternoon and welcome to the summer webinar series sponsored by the Off-Campus Student and Family Engagement. I am your host, Jay Jackson, the coordinator of Family Engagement. Today's webinar is Student Involvement and Leadership presented by Jennifer Griffin. Please note the following housekeeping guidelines. As a participant, you are unable to speak directly with presenters, but you may use the Q&A feature on the Zoom or the chat feature on the Facebook Live app. We are unable to see you all. Your cameras and microphones have been muted for this webinar. If you have questions, they will be taken after the presentation. Remember to use the Q&A feature on Zoom and the chat feature on Facebook Live. Please ensure that you do not place any of your personal identifying information in your questions. And once the presentation and the last question is taken, the webinar will end for all participants and you may be able to reach out to Student Involvement and Leadership. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. Here's your presenter, Jennifer Griffin.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Give me just a moment, we'll pull this up. All right, well, hello. I'm so happy to be talking with you all this afternoon and really wanted to share about some opportunities, resources, and services that your students have access to simply because they are a student here at UAB. And so, like Jamesia said, my name is Jennifer Griffin, and I serve as the Director for Student Involvement and Leadership here at UAB. And specifically here at UAB, our office oversees the functional areas of leadership development and student volunteerism, student activities, as well as fraternity and sorority life. And so, even though, you know, the word involvement is right there within our title, I do want to share that our office is by no means the only place on campus that is providing opportunities for students to get involved and connected to campus. But we do serve as a primary hub of involvement opportunities and have a good deal of tools as well as resources that can assist students in their involvement journey while they are here at UAB. And so I'm going to spend our time together today talking through some of those tools and resources and hopefully giving you some good information to help your student along their student experience here at UAB. And so I recognize that some of you may be parents to first-year incoming students or transfer students, and some of you might be parents or family members to students who are returning to the university and not embarking on their first year. But with a very unique 2020-2021 academic year, there are some programs and services that we have that are typically targeted at first year students that might be applicable to other groups going into this next year. And so I was going to start off by talking about some of our transitional programs that are really meant to help students in their initial transition to college and to equip them with some tools and resources to help them be successful while they're on campus. And one of those initiatives is the Blazer Welcome Initiative. And Blazer Welcome was really designed with our first year students in mind to support them in their transition to campus life here at UAB. And so it takes place over the first 4 weeks of the fall semester and provides different programs and activities in 5 different target areas that I'm going to talk about. This year's Blazer Welcome will take place between August 21st and September 18th, and I'll share a little bit more about what's going to be included within that initiative. But again, I think that while this is an initiative that has been developed with first-year students in mind, there are going to be opportunities that are relevant for our upperclassmen students as well this year. And I'll allude to what some of those opportunities are here in just a minute. We do have a Blazer Welcome website. It's uab.edu/Blazer Welcome. And so a lot of the information that I'm going to reference today is going to be able to be found on that website. We're actually in the process of revising it right now. And so it's going to have some additional resources too as we get later into the summer in preparation for our students to join us back on campus in the fall. And so within Blazer Welcome, we really focus on 5 target areas. And these areas were really determined or selected based upon a couple of things. One is just it's national data and research and what that tells us about what students need during initially in order to be successful during their time in college. We also talked with our upperclassmen students and really, developing and creating this initiative to understand what were the experiences as well as the skills that they needed and really required in order to be successful, and to continue returning to the institution to pursue their degree. And so, based on that feedback and the research that we conducted, we were able to determine again these 5 target areas of academic engagement, campus and city connections, civic engagement, healthy living, and inclusive communities. And our goal is not that a student would be, comprehensively prepared in every single area by the end of the first week, the first 4 weeks of their college experience. What our goal is that we will be able to provide them with some tools and resources and really scratch the surface. So get them enough to get past that first 4 weeks during their first month of college. And so to give an example of like what that looks like in some of these areas, within academic engagement, some of that is going to be the academic schools hosting open houses and helping our students really get integrated into the academic community by sharing different academic supports and resources that are available to them to assist them with some of their more challenging courses. Additionally, within Blazer Welcome, we are encouraging students to practice different strategies that will allow them to be successful in these areas as well. And so one of those strategies in the area of academic engagement is really looking at our students, being prepared to both read and interpret their course syllabi and being able to understand, what are the key or critical sections on the syllabus that they need to review, and what's the time frame even for when they should be looking at that information and really familiarizing themselves with those materials. So just a little preview of what we're really looking at within academic engagement. Campus and city connections might be a little bit more straightforward based on the title, but within this category, we're really looking at providing opportunities to expose students to other students, other faculty, other staff. There will be no shortage of campus events for students to participate in during the first 4 weeks of the semester. And that is really intentional in that we want to make sure during that time that the students know what a wide variety of options they have access to. And the events and activities that they see during those first 4 weeks are really just going to be a preview of what's going to be offered throughout the rest of the academic year. We also really want to ensure that students are exposed to the very cool community that we are surrounded by here at UAB. We have this beautiful backdrop of the city of Birmingham, that we get to, pursue our academic pursuits amongst each day. And with the first 4 weeks, or with transitioning to the campus, we also recognize that these students are transitioning into the local community as well. And so we work to provide opportunities for them to go out and explore that community in an environment that is structured and safe, and gives them a group of peers to do that alongside. Within civic engagement, we are really ensuring that students understand that Blazers serve. And one of the institution's core mission pillars is community engagement. And we want to introduce the students to that mission pillar and to that priority of ours as soon as they get on campus. I'm going to talk a little bit about an online platform that we have that the students can really use as a resource in terms of identifying volunteer opportunities if that's an interest or passion of theirs. But initially through Blazer Welcome, there will be opportunities to serve the campus and community. There'll be opportunity also for students to understand what is the impact that they can have as an individual, and what does that responsibility look like in terms of being a student here at UAB and being a member of our Blazer community. Healthy living is one that might seem pretty straightforward, but it's actually so much more than just making sure that the students are, eating a balanced diet and, exercising and staying active. We also recognize that while our students are in college, that they are sometimes really stretched in terms of their priorities, in terms of what they are managing and balancing at any given time. It can be from classes to employment to family responsibilities to friends and even newfound freedom. And oftentimes things like sleep and rest and taking care of themselves can really fall to the bottom of the list. And so within this area of healthy living, what we hope to do through Blazer Welcome is really prepare them to make healthy and responsible choices. Whether that mean deciding what they're going to put on their plate while they're in the cafeteria, or whether it means how they are going to manage their time effectively to ensure that they are getting the rest and time to take care of themselves that they need. And so whether that's happening through campus events or again some student success toolkits throughout those first 4 weeks, we really try to expose them to some of those healthy strategies during the first 4 weeks. And then finally, but certainly not least, is the area of inclusive communities. And this area is really focusing on and providing an introduction to the concept that while your students are here at the university, they are going to be exposed to and interact with many students, faculty, staff, even community members who look different from them, who have different beliefs or values or backgrounds from them. And we not only believe that it's a good opportunity for them to interact with those individuals while we're here, but we really believe that it's necessary for them to be prepared to have open and honest dialogue with their peers across the institution. And so we really work through the first 4 weeks of the semester to start to one, introduce them to that concept, but then two, also provide them with the conversational tools and skills that they need in order to be a part of that dialogue successfully. And to really understand what it means to not only recognize and understand the concept of diversity, but to embrace and celebrate it within our campus community. And so that's just a look at kind of what those target areas are that we're looking at. And we're doing that through, students are really experiencing this Blazer Welcome initiative, not only through attending campus events, but also through what I referenced in some of these strategies. And so we are actually in the process of developing some student toolkits that provide students with some strategies that they can take advantage of during the first 4 weeks that are proven to aid in their success at the institution. And so as you're really preparing your student to come to campus, whether it be for the first time or to return to campus in the fall, these are things that are going to be helpful to them, whether they're, again, a first year student or a returning student. These toolkits are some things that they might already know. It might be some things that they have never heard. And so I would encourage them, as well as you, to review this information and encourage them to practice some of these strategies to ensure that they're successful during the start of the semester. Additionally, as shared on that same website, you're going to be able to see a calendar or schedule of events that are taking place that are a part of Blazer Welcome. And within that schedule, we're actually in the process of building it right now. And so as we get closer to really around the start of August is when you'll see that schedule populated on the website. But something that your student can do as they're preparing to come to campus is to go ahead and take a look at the student toolkits. Go ahead and review the event schedule and see what they might be interested in or what they might want to participate in or plan to attend. The one thing that I think is really important for you all to know as it relates to Blazer Welcome, and really as it relates to any campus event for the most part, is that none of these things are required. The students are not required to attend any of these events. They're not required to practice or apply these strategies that will help them to be successful. And so they do have to choose to spend their time and energy on these things. But my hope is that knowing that these are things that we know help our students to be successful and help them to, return to the university, whether it be from the fall to the spring semester, or from their freshman to sophomore year, and so on, is that you'll encourage them to take advantage of some of these things. This schedule and these tools were not meant for them to do anything and everything on them, right? It is meant to be this customizable experience that can really speak to what the student needs and what they are going to get the most use out of in terms of the experience that they're looking to have at the institution. Another thing that is actually pretty new for our office. We're just using it this summer for the first time, but that is something great that a student who's wanting to get involved could take advantage of before they even come to campus in the fall, is our student involvement quiz. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a few moments, but ultimately what it is it gives the students an opportunity. It's a questionnaire where they go through and they can rank they indicate what they're interested in, they indicate what they are not interested in. They can talk about what have they been involved in the past, whether it be at their last college or institution or at the high school that they went to. What involvement experiences did they participate in that they enjoyed, and what involvement experiences have they participated in that they did not enjoy. And based on how they answer those questions, they will actually in real time get recommendations about involvement opportunities that exist on our campus at UAB, and direct links for how they can go and pursue those opportunities, whether it be, reaching out to the president of the organization that was recommended to them, or, completing an interest form to get involved with one of our campus departments who maybe supports, again, an interest that they've indicated in. And so this is something, again, that is, I think, really kind of something they can do on their own, but is very specific to the individual who's taking it, and gives a bit of a more customizable experience. So again, 3 things they can do before they're even on campus: checking out the student toolkit, checking out what events are going to be happening once they get on campus, and taking that student involvement quiz. Additionally, so after they review this information, they're preparing, they finally come and get on campus. This is really where they have the opportunity to practice those strategies. And we are going to be promoting those across the first 4 weeks. We're even going to be recommending timing within the first 4 weeks for when students need to be focused on different priorities and strategies that we're recommending during that time. Similarly, there's going to be, like I said, so many events and opportunities that it might even be a little bit overwhelming for the students to navigate. And that's why we really recommend that you use kind of that beginning of August timeframe to start looking through some of these opportunities and identifying what your student might be interested in participating in. Additionally, if there is a time when the student becomes overwhelmed or is just really needing some assistance in navigating, there is a pretty cool opportunity that'll take place it'll take place actually Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of that first week of classes. And it's called Got a Question, Ask a Blazer. And Got a Question, Ask a Blazer is really an initiative that was developed by students. And the idea was really provided by our students, who said, you know what, we think we need to have some little tents, some spots across campus on those first couple of days where students can pop in as they are walking to class or maybe lost, on campus somewhere, and ask hey, I'm looking for this building, where is it? Or, hey, I'm starving and I have only got 15 minutes before my next class. Where can I go to get a quick bite to eat? Some of that kind of in the moment, and really putting these different spots in places where students are going to frequently encounter them during that time. And so the Division of Student Affairs, as well as Enrollment Management, really ran with that idea and has actually had it in place now for the last 8 to 9 years, actually, which is so crazy to think about. But it's been incredibly successful. We put about 5 locations across specifically the undergraduate campus, since that tends to be the location where we have the most traffic, as well as the locations where we have the majority of the students who are new to the campus and are really, attempting to navigate it for the first time. But so during those first 3 days, we'll have those tents across campus all day long, and students can just stop by and ask whatever question they might have. Maybe it's about their class and how to get there. Maybe it's about parking. Lots of times it's about food and where they can get it. And so we try to train those volunteers to be prepared to answer whatever questions that your students might have. And so please encourage them to be on the lookout for those green tents across campus on the first couple of days, and to take advantage of them if they are in need or have a question. Another opportunity that is really targeted at our new students, and it's really was designed as a way to introduce students, to give them a taste of what involvement feels like and really what organization membership looks like, is called First Impact. And so First Impact is limited to first-year students, so that includes our first-time freshmen as well as our transfer students. And First Impact really looks at it was created for students who come to campus knowing they want to be a leader, right? Or knowing they want to grow as a leader. And so we really found that with our First Impact program, or with our first and incoming students, that we needed to provide them with an outlet to explore their strengths and understand, like, what are the things that they currently do really well and what are their opportunities where they have to really grow as a leader. We wanted to provide them with an opportunity to connect with other students and make connections with them and build relationships, because that is so critical to the students being able to really have a strong sense of belonging here at UAB. We wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of preview a couple of student organizations that we have on campus without fully committing to serving in a full-on position and leadership role within their first year. And also wanted to give them an opportunity to work in a team setting or a team environment and learn kind of what is the role that they play in that setting, how can they best apply and exercise their strengths through a team environment, and then take that information on to wherever they want their involvement journey to go. And so First Impact is something that does require an application. It's actually the application process for that experience is currently live, and it's pretty minimal criteria. The reason for the application is that there's a limited number of organizations that currently participate. And so we want to make sure that we can give the student participants the most robust experience. And so with that does come limiting the number of individuals that are able to participate, to ensure that they get the support as well as the exposure that they need. And so, but that application is currently live. And if this is something that you think your student might be interested in, I would encourage you to encourage them to look into this. The application is located on our online involvement platform, Engage. I'm actually going to talk about it in just a moment here, but they just need to search First Impact when they get onto the Engage website, and the application will populate and they'll be able to fill it out from there. And in fact, I could also share that direct link with Jamesia so that she can share it with you all as a follow-up. But again, very cool opportunity, but it is specifically for first-time freshmen as well as transfer students. And another reason that First Impact was ultimately created was because our traditional student leader selection process, where we recruit and interview and select members to be a part of at this point, it's over 20 student organizations and kind of what I would call the university's premier student organizations that receive direct advising and support from the university, is that this selection process actually does not take place until the spring semester. And so First Impact really provides those new students with an opportunity to get exposed to these involvement opportunities in these organizations without having to wait until the spring. And so this spring process is really for a first-time student, or a student who had completed their first semester and was going into their second semester would be eligible to participate, as well as any upperclassmen student. But student leader selection is really the process in which students can apply for specific positions, and within about 20 organizations that are advised out of Student Affairs, as well as athletics. We do have a couple of opportunities within athletics as well. And so through this experience, while it is an interview and selection process, it's also a great professional development opportunity for our students. We incorporate opportunities for them to learn how to build a resume. It's an opportunity for them to be exposed to multiple involvement opportunities, right? They might come for one specific organization, but we've built the process in a way where it really requires them to explore all of the opportunities that are available, or at least, more than just the one that they might have come with the intention to participate in. It also really introduces them to, or gives them the opportunity to practice their interviewing skills and understand, how to articulate the experiences and the skill set that they bring to a position or to a team within their, or from, based on their current experience. It also provides them with an opportunity to get to meet other students who are also interested in growing as a leader. And so there are opportunities through the student leader selection process where they can actually meet students who come from very similar but also different backgrounds, but who may have some similar interests to them based on the organizations that they've indicated an interest in. And so again, if this sounds like an experience that your student might be interested in, we really don't start promoting or sharing a ton of information about this until we get into the spring semester. So really is typically it's as soon as we come back from that winter break, we start promoting some opportunities and the dates for student leader selection. But there is a website on our student involvement website that talks all about the organizations that participate, what's the specific time frame. It outlines membership criteria for the different organizations that participate in this process. And again, if the student is interested in really developing as a leader, this is a great way for them to practice and grow. And so I've mentioned Engage a couple of times. And like I said before, Engage is our online involvement platform here at UAB. And so what that means is it is our home for student organizations. It actually includes or has an organization directory where any student can go and scroll through every active organization that we currently have on our campus at UAB. This past spring, there were over 300 student organizations on our campus. So again, no shortage of opportunities to get involved and connected with an organization on UAB's campus. And because there's so many, there's actually quite a few filtering options as well that allow our students to really narrow the search, right? They might come already knowing a few topics or areas that they are interested in, or maybe they even have a specific organization that they know they want to join. On Engage, there's a explore bar where they can actually type in the name of a specific organization. They can also use the filtered feature to select different categories of organizations, and it'll populate on the directory just organizations that align with the filters that the student selected. Any student, and actually even you as a family member, could actually pull up Engage from our website and see the public facing side of the site. That is going to show you all of our active organizations, and it'll also show you some of the events that are happening on campus. Our UAB students do have the ability to log into Engage with their Blazer ID and password, and that allows them to see some additional information that is not just posted for the public. So it'll allow them to actually reach out to the organization, see who that primary point of contact is, if they want to send them an email rather than reaching out through Engage. It'll tell them like what the organization is all about, give them a description. They can look at photos from the organization's events. And all kinds of things, really, depending on what all the organization has uploaded into the system. We do require that all student organizations at UAB be registered on Engage. So it is a true picture, an accurate picture of what active student organizations that we currently have on campus. But Engage is not just for student organizations. It also is home to all of our student events here at UAB. And so student organizations as well as campus departments register and publish their events on Engage so that students can come here anytime they have a little downtime in between classes, or if the weekend's coming up and they know that they don't have a lot to do and they want to see what's going on campus, Engage is a great place to go and really see what all the university has to offer and what's going on during any given time. Similar to our organization directory, you can filter the event directory. You can filter it by date. You can filter it by type of event. This past year, we even were able to add a filter that will tell our students whether the event is taking place in person or virtually. And many events will have an opportunity for students to participate in either form. And so there's lots of ways to really customize what events you're seeing and what types of opportunities you're being exposed to based on what your interest is and what type of access you're looking for. Just as another frame of reference, this past spring, there were over 3,000 events that were published to the Engage event directory. And so again, I'm going to say it for a third time, there is no shortage of opportunities of things to do or things to get involved with on the campus. And so just a little overview, I think, so thinking about Engage, I talked a little bit about our student organization community and that there's so many organizations. And this is by no means a comprehensive list of types of organizations that we have, but I do think it provides a good summary of what some of the types of organizations are that we have here at UAB. So we have student government related organizations. We have an undergraduate student government association, as well as a graduate student government here at UAB. And there's actually a couple of academic schools that also have student governments tied to them. And so it's a really unique student government structure here at UAB. But if that's something that your student had an experience with in high school and wants to continue that into their collegiate experience, there's definitely an opportunity for that here at UAB. There's organizations that are really focused on service and philanthropy. So whether it be through volunteering or through policy and advocacy work, there is a wide variety of student organizations that are really all have a purpose that aligns with that theme. We do have a fraternity and sorority community here at UAB. We have 28 fraternities and sororities that represent 4 governing councils. Our Greek community is just under 1,000 students currently here at UAB. And I'll actually be doing a webinar focused on our fraternity and sorority community next week. So if you're interested, you should tune in for that. But they are a thriving community here at UAB for sure. And those councils do host recruitment and intake activities in both the fall and spring semesters. But they are all registered on Engage, and so you can explore those organizations there as well. We also have academic and professional organizations, and so that includes your honor societies, but also your student organizations that are really tied closely to either an academic school, a major within an academic school, or a professional career path that's tied to an academic major. And so for students who are really wanting to build their resume for their future career, this category or area is a great place to explore different involvement opportunities that are also going to support their career trajectory in the future. And then club sports they are supported by university recreation here at UAB, but they are also a part of our student organization community. And so if your student is someone who maybe played a sport in high school, but wasn't interested in doing so at the collegiate level, we do have this club sport option that is, a lot of them will compete, but it's a little bit more low key. The practice schedule is probably not as intense as what it is for some of our teams within athletics, but it still provides a great opportunity to build community as well as to continue, a hobby that aligns with their interests or passions. So again, not a comprehensive list of the types of orgs, but a good overview. And again, all of these can be found on Engage. I also had mentioned that we have a event directory on Engage. And so there's tons of events, and there's no way that I could highlight every one that takes place throughout the year. But I did want to spotlight a couple and give you kind of a preview of what are some events that your student can look forward to going into the upcoming year. And so these are some signature events that are sponsored by student involvement and leadership, but oftentimes planned by students. And so Connect Fest, as well as Into the Streets, are ones that will take place during the first 4 weeks of the semester. Connect Fest is really an opportunity to expose students to all of the student organizations. Simply put, it's an organization fair, but it's actually so much more. We invite campus departments to participate. There's activities and games. Fingers crossed, there'll be some delicious food as well. And so this year, Connect Fest will actually take place on the Sunday night before classes start, following the first year student class photo. And so it'll take place out on the campus green, and we're really excited about the opportunity to welcome all of our new students, as well as welcome back our returning students with this kind of kickoff event for the semester. Into the Streets is one of our signature service events. And so it's a time where I really encourage students who maybe have never served the community before, or at least served here in Birmingham, or students who have but aren't just really sure where they want to continue their service, or their kind of active commitment in the community. I encourage them to participate in Into the Streets, because through Into the Streets, there's typically anywhere from 20 to 30 volunteer sites where students can go and sign up to serve with a group of their peers. And we go for about 4 hours, one day out of the week, and serve. And again, but it's in kind of the campus community really goes in and participates as a whole. And so this is a great way for a student to really preview what a community organization does, what types of volunteer activities they have. And our hope is that as the student will connect with a community partner that they then want to continue to serve with throughout the remainder of the year. It's by no means an expectation. They're not required to do that, but it's a great way, again, to kind of test out some different opportunities within a kind of non-committal environment, right? It's a great way to go and kind of check some new organizations out. And so we try to do that early on in the academic semester so that they have plenty of time to continue serving with that partner if they wish to do so. Similarly, MLK's Beloved Community is a really similar concept, but the service opportunities that day are really in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. And it's a way that we as a campus really demonstrate our commitment to our community in honor of him. But again, the structure of the day is similar in that we've got a wide variety of community partners that really come together and invite our students out to serve with them on that day. And our hope is similar to Into the Streets, in that they'll have a positive experience and be able to continue to serve with that partner far beyond that one day in January. Our BlazerCon event is actually a pretty unique event. We have a pretty large community of gamers here at UAB. And so whether that's students who enjoy tabletop games, online games, video games, computer games, cosplay, there's a group, an organization, as well as an event for them. And BlazerCon is really a culmination of that. It brings all of our gaming organizations together, and it is a weekend of just fun for that community and community of students who are interested in, again, kind of gaming in every version. It does include a couple of tournaments throughout the weekends where there's opportunity to win scholarship money. We invite different vendors and sometimes even potential employers who are really looking for students who have an interest in computer science and, have demonstrated a commitment or even a passion or have succeeded, in playing some of these games competitively. And so again, BlazerCon is really an opportunity where we just like to bring that community together and provide them with a big weekend of fun. There are some monthly events that are called GG Fridays that take place on a smaller scale, but really with the same theme in mind. And we do also a preview event during the first 4 weeks called Welcome Con. So if gaming is something that your student gets excited about, that would definitely be a couple of events for them to check out when they get on campus in August. And then additionally, we of course want to celebrate the spirit and traditions of the university. And we do that through events like our Homecoming Spirit Week, as well as Creed Week. And definitely want to, any opportunity to celebrate our community as an institution, as well as the value and tenets of our university's creed that we really strive to live by every day while we're on campus. And so as your student is really preparing to hopefully participate in some of these events this fall, one thing that I would encourage them to do is to go ahead and download their Engage Event Pass. And this event pass really serves a couple of purposes, but is going to them downloading it and saving it to their phone this summer is going to give them a really easy process when they go to attend some of these events in the fall. Our office will be requiring that students show this event pass because, like I've shared before, the majority of these events are all free to students, but we do have to confirm that they're a UAB student prior to allowing them access or admittance into the events. And so we do that through the use of the Engage Event Pass. And so this is actually tied to their individual personal profile on Engage. It will not change during the 4 years that they are here, so they can save it to their phone once. And as long as they don't drop that phone or break it at any point, it will work to get them into events over the course of their college experience here at UAB. I use the word download, but really all they have to do is take a screenshot of it, or they can add it to their Apple Pay or their Apple Wallet or their Google Pay so that it's saved to their phone and they're not having to pull it up every time they want to go to a campus event. But it'll allow them, I would say, again, just a really easy point of access into some of the campus events that I've mentioned today. And it's something that they can do and have access to before they even get on campus. I tend to feel guilty talking about 2 online platforms in the span of 1 hour because I worry that sometimes that is overwhelming. But we do actually have a second online platform that is specific for students who are looking for volunteer opportunities around the local community. And the reason that I do include it is, one, because I think this speaks to a large population of our students here at UAB who are interested in service. And, I mentioned it before and I'll say it again, that community engagement is a core pillar of our institution and of our institutional mission. And so we provide tools and resources that allow our students to be able to serve the community in the capacity that they are comfortable with. And so they can actually explore those volunteer opportunities through our Blazer Pulse platform. And what's really cool is that while we do have a separate system, it actually feeds into Engage. So as long as your student knows how to log into Engage, there'll be a service tab at the top that they can click on, and it'll actually redirect them to this online community engagement portal. And so, like I said, through this portal, they can explore volunteer opportunities. They can register or sign up to volunteer. They can see how many spots are available. They can sometimes see who else has signed up if they're wanting to sign up with a group of friends. And what I think the coolest feature is that they can actually record their service hours through this online platform as well. And that really comes in handy for the students who are wanting to apply for an academic program that potentially has a service hour requirement. For those of you who have students who are going to want to go or apply to be a student in the School of Nursing, or going to want to apply to medical school, a lot of our health profession majors require a demonstrated commitment to serving the community. And the student can demonstrate that by printing off the recorded service hours that they've posted and verified on our Blazer Pulse platform. They can add that as a supplemental document to their application materials, or if they need to, they can just transfer the information and not have to just rack their brain and try to remember, like, oh, who are those people I served with, freshman year if I'm doing this in my junior year. And so it provides a great record for them that can really come in handy. It's also helpful when they're applying for scholarships, if they're applying to participate in leadership experiences, or even even in their professional career, a lot of times I see on resumes, a community service section that really articulates where they have spent their time in terms of serving the community. And so finally, I've shared so many different resources and kind of avenues for involvement that I do think it can still feel overwhelming. I'm sure even for you all as family members to navigate all of the different opportunities and experiences that a student can have during their time here at UAB. And so if you are feeling that way, or if you are concerned your student is going to feel that way, please let them know that we do have a resource for them in our UAB Pathfinders. And these Pathfinders are ultimately involvement mentors that are meant to break down the involvement experience through one-on-one consultations with your students and through understanding what they're interested in. These students can actually make, specific recommendations or provide avenues or paths of involvement that will best align with the students' interests as well as their goals for their involvement journey here at UAB. And so our Pathfinder program, there is an easy way for a student to request an appointment, but they also do walk-in hours and will be during the fall semester. And so this is a program that I really just want you all to be aware of and to know that if the student's feeling overwhelmed and doesn't know where to start in terms of getting involved or connected on campus, this is a resource and a student group that I would really encourage them to take advantage of. And so finally, I anticipate that you all might have some questions today, and we hope to get through some of those this afternoon. But if you have questions after the webinar today and you need to reach out or would like to talk with me one-on-one, there are a couple of different ways to do so. We do have a email address that you can reach out to me. It actually goes directly to my inbox. It's getinvolved@uab.edu. We currently are on one social media platform, and that is Instagram at Get Involved UAB. And we really use that platform to share information about upcoming events, highlight different student organizations. And in fact, this summer, we are highlighting the 15 or so organizations that are advised out of our office and introducing them really to our social media audience. And so I'd encourage you, as well as your student or students, to follow us on Instagram so that they can see what fun things they have to look forward to in the fall. And then we do also have a YouTube channel that's just UAB student involvement. And this is where we have quite a few tutorials on Engage. So if you or your student is really struggling to navigate the platform and feels like you just need an introduction, we have a couple of those on Engage that can help. We also have some recorded leadership workshops, as well as highlights from some previous events that would give you a little preview of also what to expect this coming fall semester. And then finally, I did want to reference one more time the student involvement quiz. And so this is something that I referenced towards the beginning of the presentation, but is something that I really encourage your student to complete prior to coming to campus. It's a great way if they are concerned about navigating the different opportunities and experiences that exist on campus. It's a nice way to really get some customized recommendations about where they might start in terms of getting connected with different involvement opportunities, campus events, and student organizations. And so I'm actually going to share a link here in just a minute that you can then share with your student, but you'll also get that in a follow-up communication after today's webinar. And so that does wrap up my formal presentation, but I would welcome any questions, concerns, or even just thoughts that you all might have in response to the content that I shared today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
And there you go. I just shared that link to the involvement quiz.
Participants, if you would please put your questions and answers, put your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to start answering your questions. Meredith, if we have any questions on Facebook Live, would you please share that with us, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Again, for those that are watching through Facebook Live, all you have to do is type your questions into the comment section.
Jennifer, just for wondering minds, some families may have freshmen that started last year during COVID and they have freshmen coming in this year. If there are some opportunities that are not afforded to sophomores, how would you go about getting involved that way? So like First Impact and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So with First Impact specifically, we've had that same thought about students who really, had their first year or their freshman year this past year and just chose not to participate because of all of the barriers that were in place to doing so. And so we are developing through that same program an opportunity for sophomores to participate this year. What we're calling it is they would be considered a general body member, and it would allow them to participate in organization meetings and kind of get a preview of what the organization does. And it would allow them to contribute in different events and activities that they do, but without having to, again, kind of fully take on membership in the org. And so they can reach out to us at the email address I mentioned if they're interested in that. There's also, to my understanding, a place where they can indicate that on the First Impact application. And so as they're submitting it, they can indicate, like, I'm actually a second year student, but didn't get to participate last year. And that's where we would redirect you to this kind of other involvement opportunity. So yes, we did anticipate that being a potential audience for this program, and we're really happy and excited to engage with them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And for the participants who are online, that are on our webinar with us, excuse me, it's the end of the day. We are recording this webinar, so it will be posted on the UAB Families website in the UAB Families Hub. And if Jennifer, if you would like to share it, we can share it with you to post on your platforms as well.
Yeah, that sounds great.
When is the first day for this fall semester? School starts August the 23rd.
That's correct. Yeah. So the fall semester will start on Monday, August 23rd. With it, my understanding is move-in will take place that week prior. And so there will be some campus activities that'll be happening that week before classes. It is pretty some of them are tied to students' academic schools. Our Panhellenic sorority recruitment process will take place that week prior. And so, but again, the official start to the semester is that August 23rd date.
And Jennifer, can you clarify the difference between sponsored campus organizations and non-sponsored organizations? And are those clearly defined on the Engage platform?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You can filter on Engage and technically the filters are, one is called a university funded organization. And so you could select that filter and you could see what I was calling a sponsored organization. And all that means is that they have a advisor who is assigned to them by the university, and that is a part of that individual's job description. And so I'll use myself as an example. I am employed by the university, and a part of my role is to advise our graduate student government. So that's not something that I'm volunteering to do. That is a part of my job here at UAB. And so it's built within my 40-hour assignment at the university. The difference between a university funded organization and an organization what we would call a registered student organization. So that is one that was, the purpose was developed by a student. They requested to register with the university and recruited their own members, and they really run and manage that organization. They still have an advisor. The only difference is that they have gone, and there's a faculty or staff member on campus who has volunteered to serve in that capacity versus it being a part of their primary responsibilities at the institution. Additionally, the only other difference is where they get their funding from. So a university funded or sponsored organization is receiving primarily their funding is coming directly from the university. A registered student organization or not sponsored student organization is going to receive their funding through membership dues, through fundraising. They do also have the opportunity to receive some funds through the university, specifically through the Undergraduate Student Government Association. But those are the main differences. So for a student who's participating, the experience is probably not a ton different. In fact, I don't even know that many of our students who serve and are members of a student organization would even be able to tell you whether they were a part of a university funded or not university funded RSO. For them, the experience is, again, their membership. They have an advisor the same as they would. They host events the same as a sponsored organization would. And our office still supports those organizations. It's just we don't have the staffing to support all 300 groups on campus. And so we recruit faculty and staff from across the campus community to really assist with that. And that's the biggest difference. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Also, could you confirm the Connect Fest date for our participants?
Yes, so the date for this year's Connect Fest will be Sunday, August 22nd. I think we're still confirming that event time, but I want to say it's scheduled to start between 6 and 7 p.m. And again, that'll be on the campus green.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Mhm.
Participants, if you have any final questions, if you would please send those in to us. We would love to hear from you. And we're going to give them about another 2 minutes to get some questions in. If not, then we'll conclude our webinar.
Cool.
And for participants who have questions about when students should arrive to campus and things of that nature, we have more webinars later on in the month of July and August from Student Housing and Residence Life to answer those questions for us. So we hope that you all enjoyed the presentation, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jennifer, for your time. It was a wonderful presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And again, please don't hesitate, you all, to reach out if you've got any questions in the future.
Yes, and we'll see you next week for fraternities and sororities.
That's right. I can't wait.
Meredith, do you